edition of Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. We're glad you're along for the ride. Probably some sleepy folks tuning in this morning. I know I'm a little sleepy, staying up watching that barn burner last night. Heck of a game. If you missed it, the Georgia Bulldogs are your national champs, and they were the better team all year long. And give them credit for what they have done. But we're going to go ahead and jump to the Titan MR hotline. And we're joined by old buddy Mark, who was around back in the day when last time the Dogs won a national title in 1980. And, buddy, you know what my favorite thing of the night was?
Let's see, your favorite thing.
When Kirby goes, when he was getting the trophy and he gave an acknowledgement to the old late Larry Munson, there's going to be some property destroyed.
That was,
tonight.
And that was actually Reese Davis. Kirby did that. You're right. That was exactly. I love that part too. And of course, if you never heard that bite, good morning to you, Shane. Yes, I'm a little bit sleepy, but that was a moment for people who ever heard Larry Munson in that great play-by-play call of the Florida Georgia game. It was a classic, and I was glad to see Kirby embrace that.
Yes, I got a couple of Facebook Lives brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm part of the Florida Gators. Chris says Shane was right, UGA won, but dang, Bryce Young is special. He put most – why does this thing go away when I'm reading them? He put most of his throws on the money and the backups couldn't get – yeah, Bryce Young's special. I tell you what, I tweeted this and I was texting with some friends. Buddy, the athleticism, the speed, the size of the players in that game, it was unbelievable.
It was. I mean, Georgia was breathing fire on defense, and even though I thought they'd lost the game, after the big fumble, the fact remains,
which was not a fumble, by the way.
Well, they called it the fumble,
but it's totally wrong. His arm was going forward. The ball went forward. I don't know how they can call that a forward pass.
I don't know. I looked at that 3 or 4 times. I disagree with that. I think it was a fumble. But anyway, it doesn't matter what we think. It turned out to be a fumble. and let's be honest, they got a little lucky. But that was the defining moment of the game and what happened after that. I mean, look, I don't care whether you like the Bulldogs or you hate Kirby, whatever. You have to give props to people when they do something. And the fire breathing of Stetson Bennett. Look, forget for a moment about your personal prejudice. There's a higher calling here, Shane. There's a higher calling. I don't care about what your team is, why you hate a team. Learn to be for something. And last night, I saw some things that I thought were great for football. And I'm not going to go too crazy here, but a walk-on quarterback beat a Heisman Trophy winner. And at the end of the game, the Heisman Trophy winner was on the ground. Great player, but he may have been in great year. The season had belonged to Nick Saban. Last night, it belonged to Kirby Smart and his walk-on quarterback, Stetson Bennett. How could you not root for that? If you have an ounce of competitive blood in your soul, you've seen sports, you've seen people, you root for people, all right? If you're an SEC fan, you got to be proud of the team that what they accomplished. I know you hate the Bulldogs. I know what hates you. Shane, you of all people have every reason to hate them too, although you beat them a few times. The bottom line is I think the game last night was the star. The players, Kirby came off, I thought, really well. Certainly Stetson Bennett now was one for the ages. He'll never buy a drink again in Athens, Georgia, or maybe in the state of Georgia.
No, it's I know a lot of Gator fans for whatever reason don't like Kirby. I've met Kirby a couple of times. I don't know if I've told this story on air, but when my son was after his 10th grade year, we went to all the SEC schools for their one-day camps, buddy. And I called up Kirby and I said, we're coming. They have different days. I said, we're coming this day. He's like, okay, just make sure you're here by this time. Check in. They put my kid, who obviously everybody knows was not a 5-star, very good high school player. He treated him on this one-day camp like he was a 5-star quarterback, put him through a personal 30-minute workout, throwing, and all this stuff, had his number 9 jersey hanging. I mean, everything you think of. And he didn't have to do that, but that goes to show you how good a recruiter he is. Think about what he does for, kids that are actually 5-stars. You know what I'm saying? So I think what's cool about it too is he played at Georgia. The loyalty is there. It's very similar to Coach Spurrier winning a national title here. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes a long ways. But and then of course I get on Twitter when things aren't going well and people want to put JT Daniels in the game. I don't know what game they were watching, but JT Daniels didn't have a chance to make a play. Stetson Bennett was running for his life. In taking a beat. Both quarterbacks took a beating in that game.
They did. So they did.
It blows my mind that just because an offense is sputtering, they want to blame the damn quarterback. Well, let me tell you something. Number 31 for Alabama, it's a shame he was not invited to the Heisman Trophy ceremony because he is 1,000 times better than that kid from Michigan.
Player. Yeah.
But you're right. It was a great game to watch. Great for the conference. Obviously, it's two teams the Gator Nation hates seeing play, and obviously don't want to see Georgia win it. But
Shane, back to Kirby 1 second. With Kirby, I think the key word is respect. Kirby Smart showed you class and respect. All right. That's all a competitor ever wants in sports. And by the way, Stetson Bennett didn't get a whole lot of respect from his own people. And I think the Georgia Bulldog fans who said, give me JT Daniels should be ashamed of themselves today because Stetson Bennett wrote one of the great stories of the year last night. And I don't care if you like him or don't, you better respect him.
And I've been on the Stetson Bennett bandwagon for 2 years because the kid knows how to play quarterback. You can't teach. I don't know how many. I think I talked about it yesterday. I don't care if you're 6'5" and have a great arm. There are so many of those guys around the country that look wonderful in shorts, but when the bullets start flying, I mean, Stetson beat out like 2 5-stars when they brought him off the bench against Arkansas 2 years ago. So it's a great story. Kudos to that kid. Heck, he's got another year. He can come back if he wants, but I don't think he needs to ride off into the sunset now.
Really, right now. Go while you get your cigar and go, by the way. And by the way, just a word about Bryce Young. Let's not forget he lost all his weapons.
Oh, yeah.
And you can speak to that when you're desperately trying to make a play late in the game. You just got to get the ball up there and get it out. And he was under tremendous duress. I mean, the Georgia defense never played better than they did the last quarter last night. And as Kirby, as Nick said to Kirby after the game, you guys kicked our ass in the fourth quarter, and yes, they did kick their ass. You got to give them props. They came through, and I just again go back to the great storyline. Stetson Bennett was the story last night. You always want to root for an underdog, and then when a Heisman Trophy winner winds up on the ground and the walk-on wins the MVP, how much better could the story be?
Yeah, and Tyler says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon, Stetson's going to go to the NFL and get popped one time if he does. He's not going to the NFL, Tyler.
No,
he has zero chance to even go to He has zero chance to even get invited to a training camp.
Yeah.
He is done playing football if he decides to not come back for his last COVID year.
Probably be a coach one day. I bet he'll be a coach.
Or he just looks like he's going to be somebody that's going to be a financial advisor in every dang Georgia top dog or whatever they call them there. Go have Stetson handle their money. I can just see it. Chris says, I enjoyed seeing Bennett's on the field interviews saying he's the best QB on the team. Good for him. He is. His team believed in him. That's what people on the outside do not understand. They look at
Shane, what does that mean to you? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what does that mean to you last night to watch the end of that game and watch Stetson Bennett break out balling at the end? What were you thinking when you saw that?
Well, it's a movie. I mean, it's similar. During Christmas, I just lost my train of thought. The movie with Kurt Warner came out. Kurt Warner was working in a grocery store, playing arena ball, got his chance, wins Super Bowl. Now he's in the Hall of Fame. So they made a movie about it. Well, this is very similar. I mean, this is a kid who grew up wanting to be a Georgia Bulldog, didn't have the stature, the size, all that stuff, but walked on, then went and played JUCO, and then came back and, heck of a football player, but it just goes to show you that the size doesn't mean everything, and arm strength. And I mean, buddy, neither one of the quarterbacks last night are 5'10". Think about that.
Wow.
Bryce Young, they list him at 6 foot. He's I bet he's 5'10". I bet Stetson's 5'10".
Really?
Yeah. Have you seen Bryce Young stand in the huddle? with those guys?
Yeah, I just can't measure it. Those guys are so big; that's hard to tell. I got to go by what they give me, but that's amazing if they're that short. I mean, look, it's the heart, man. It's a heart. And now, let me just say this before we get too carried away on the story, which I love, as you know. Boy, for a while there, it was a stinker. For 2.5 quarters, I mean, I thought maybe Bill O'Brien and Todd Monken never got off the bus. Not Todd Monken. What's his name? The offensive coordinator.
It's Todd Monken.
Just Todd. Okay, it's two Monken guys. Georgia's defense was just killing it, and and I don't know how their offense stayed alive that long, but it was through grit and determination. That moment, and Herb Street talked about this a lot. That moment after the so-called fumble, which you say wasn't a fumble. The fire, you hear what he said? I wasn't going to be the one that cost us the game. Now, that moment for you as a quarterback, competitor, and when your game and your reputation, everything's on the line, you got to fight or die. That's the kind of guy I want with me on my team. Shane, you had to love that as a competitor.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I felt horrible because I still to this minute do not think that was a fumble. His hand was going forward. The ball was going forward. I don't know how they call it a fumble. And then what's even crazier, buddy, the touchdown that Bryce Young scrambles and throws back to the tight end, it should have been offensive interference. If you watch that guy, he clearly extends and pushes off, but they didn't call it. But
you know what? I got Mike McGinnis on my show tonight, and he's, of course, a former SEC official. I'll ask him that, all right?
Yeah, ask him on that touchdown. That tight end pushed off, in my opinion. Lauren says here on, or maybe Joseph says on Facebook Live, vision is something that doesn't affect stars. Bennett showed sometimes there's more to that than physical attributes. Yeah, man, it's you say it was a stinker earlier. Man, it was just a bloodbath, just two physical football teams going at it, and you were just waiting for that one team to make the big play or make the big mistake. But yeah, give Alabama credit. I think a lot of people think this is Nick Saban's best coaching job he's ever done because of a young football team, a lot of injuries. Obviously, losing James Williams last night killed them. I got a text on that, by the way, buddy. I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah,
it comes from Greg on the Titan MR text line. Mm-hmm. He says, do you think the new artificial turf got something to do with all these knee injuries?
Interesting. Good question.
I'm not a big turf. I've never been a fan of any type of turf.
Yeah.
Out in Las Vegas, and I believe with the Arizona Cardinals in their domes, they grow the grass on the outside and slide it in for game days. I don't know. You can't do that up there in Indianapolis, obviously, but I would think that I don't know. I've never been a fan of turf. I don't like all these high schools going to turf. I know why they do it because it's cheaper in the long run. They don't have to worry about maintenance and all that and growing grass and maintaining it, cutting it, fertilizing, but it's terrible. Anybody that likes turf, they're lying to you.
Well, your coach got rid of it your first year in Florida. He came in and said, we're in the blue jerseys. We're going to go back to natural grass and we're going to play Miami. Well, he did 2 out of 3 of those. And, of course, as you say, it makes like a lot of difference. And for sure. I just want to emphasize again, without being a cliche, Shane, you can speak to this. I have covered athletes for a zillion years, all right, 60 or more years. I know one thing is true that I've seen of coaches and players especially, and you were like this. Oftentimes, the people who are making history don't realize that they're in the middle of it. What we saw history last night, we saw the Nick Saban era of domination end over his assistant coaches and, of course, in the league. Now, they'll be back. Don't doubt that at all. They'll be back. But you never know when you're making the history how much longer it's gonna actually last. And who's to say Nick Saban ever wins another national championship? That era may have passed. And if so, we were really lucky to see that era. If he is the greatest coach of all time, we witnessed it, we watched it, and certainly last night's game was worthy of Nick Saban. They just didn't come out on top. And again, you may hate Kirby Smart, you may hate Georgia, but think for a minute. One of the great themes of literature, and I'm an author, is overcoming human struggle. That's a great thing. You talk about struggle. You talk about Kirby Smart, you know the pain he has had to feel over the last few years. And you know Stetson Bennett's pain. You saw it on his face last night when he was weeping on the sideline. So, in my opinion, it's like this. In life and football, you never know. Again, those who are making history aren't usually aware of it until it's over. You had your part of it. Last night, Kirby Smart and his quarterback had their part of it. And this will live forevermore in the annals of football, the SEC, and yes, University of Georgia football.
Oh yeah, yeah. There'll be a 30 for 30 on Stetson before we know it. We got a couple of Facebook lives here brought to you by Melton Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Michael asked your buddy, and I don't know the answer to this because I've kind of been out of the loop. It seems like Billy hasn't named a defensive coordinator. Do you think that means he will be coming out of the NFL on one of the playoff teams? What are you hearing? I still hear Chris Rump from the Chicago Bears, but I've had some people tell me that's not going to happen. What are you hearing, buddy?
Well, I have heard, again, I'm not in the, I don't have any pipeline here, but what I'm hearing from people is that Rump is out. He wanted to be the co-defensive coordinator, and they wouldn't give him the job. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. I know Rob Sale's supposed to be signing up any day. The Giant fans will be glad to get rid of him, apparently. They didn't like him at all up there, ripping. But he has certainly proven himself in terms of a recruiter and a coach with Coach Napier. And I'll be honest with you, I am so far behind and so confused about who this staff is. I've actually got a young reporter working on it right now for Gator Bait to list all the new people, Shane. Shane, how many people would you say were on scholarship when you were playing in Florida on the football team?
On scholarship?
Scholarship.
I want to say when I played, I don't know if it was 70 or 75 scholarships.
Well, think about this. Billy Napier's got more coaches and support staff than there were football players you played. You're going to have 78 of them. Wow. 78. Now, let me say what, that's not a bad thing. And we'll see if it works. But the Army he's talking about is massive. And I cannot keep up. So I'm actually have a roll call. We're trying to put down the number of guys who have been. I can't keep up. And recruiting, I mean, by the way, lost in all this was Kyrie Elam said he is going to the NFL yesterday. That's we thought he might be back. So it changes, Shane, not by the week or day, by the hour. There's so much going on right now. I can't emphasize the portal is a whole nother story. And of course, let me just say it, the name, image, likeness thing is about to blow up. I can tell you that for sure. Tonight on our show, we're going to have Eddie Rojas, who, of course, is with the Gator Collective founder. And we're going to make a major announcement about our show tonight regarding the Gator Collective. Because you may say, well, these kids don't deserve it. And, yeah, they're not going to, it's not something they should have. They're spoiled. Bottom line is it's here. It's a big part of what Billy Napier is doing. He is heavily involved in this. I have some firsthand information, the length to which he's gone to do this, and he is serious about it being a big deal. So who knows? I can't wait tonight to have Eddie Rojas tonight and Ben Troop. He and I and Ben will make an announcement tonight. And it may not be what you like and what you thought football and college athletes are supposed to be, but it is what it is. It's here. You better grasp it because if you don't, you'll be left at the gate. And teams like LSU, they're struggling. Now, there's one of the players came out and said, we're way behind on this. They know. These players know. You know, even Georgia and Alabama, to a certain extent, they're saying, well, we want to control this. Well, as my friend tells me, they want to control it so they can they can control it, say they only give them $20,000 so they can give them $80,000 under the table. You know how that goes, Shane.
Turn your car, truck into a rolling billboard for your business or brand with an eye-catching vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. This January, mention promo code Shane, receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Speaking with Buddy Martin on the Titan MR hotline, Dan says 30 for 30, 30 million for 30 recruits in Bama versus Georgia game. Well, that may be the case. That hasn't come out, that they haven't paid as much as what Texas A&M has paid. So the problem is, buddy, we're not going to be able to offer the money that these other schools are offering.
Well, you might be surprised. Let me just tell you, you might be surprised. That I can tell you.
Buddy,
things are
we
changing.
ain't not gonna have $30 million to give.
Okay, we'll see. Just telling you, stay tuned. All right.
All right.
Stay tuned.
All right. We'll see.
And it is what it is. So, yeah. Shane, when you get a minute here, I don't want to jump in the middle of your show. You know how I told you about stories, how much I like them. There's an incredible story going on now nobody knows about. It involves the Olympics, and it involves a local ice skater who did something very magnanimous last night. She's from Ocala, Brittany Bowe, and here's what I want to why I'm bringing this up. Sports is a team game. I don't care what it is. It's a team game. And Shane, you've talked about this a lot. You hated that they wear different looking outfits and jerseys and whatever. You do think you win together, you lose together, you sweat together. You're a team. And what's the great thing about this Georgia team? This team spoke volumes last night. In a COVID year with so much going, so many distractions, NIL, et cetera, et cetera. Georgia was a team. And when it needed to be, they stood behind their guy. They played the lights out defense. And I think, remember, lost in all this is the importance of protecting the team concept. Even at the Olympic level, when Brittany Bowe gave up one of her spots on the Olympic team for a young skater that she was friends with and allowed her to be on the Olympic team. Brittany is an Ocala person here, is well known here. And so she did a great thing last night. It's a story yesterday. And her quote was, I mean, in my heart, there was never a question. Now, would I do whatever it took if it came down to me to get Erin to the skate for the Olympics? She said, and she did. And Erin, the skater, whose name I got to get it right, the speed skater, Erin Jackson. She'll compete for her third Olympics in the 1,000 and 1,500 meters because she skated well, but she didn't make it. So she stumbled. So Brittany Bowe, who was scheduled to race there, gave her spot up so her friend could do this, could skate. How many athletes would do that? And the fact that she was Ocala. Brittany Bowe is 33. She didn't have that many left to go. Jackson's 29. And they've been friends for a long time. So it was a great moment for Team America, for the Olympics. Brittany Bowe shining like a star, giving up her spot on the Olympic team. She's now got another race to run, but her spot in this race, these two races, she gave to her friend. That, to me, is magnanimous.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. My question is, how do you become a really good speed skater or whatever you call it in Ocala, Florida?
Well, she has training techniques. She's talked about that a lot. And she actually owns a roller rink, by the way. In town, and a lot of people skate there. I don't know the significance of the two.
But you don't go there. You don't go there with your wife and skate backwards.
Yeah, on Tuesday nights I do. Yeah, you ever been to a roller rink?
A roller derby?
No, roller rink.
You're talking about like a skating rink. That was big.
It is. That is,
dude. That was what you did growing up.
You get chicks that way. This is
you got to be able to skate backwards and do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, hold hands, the music, dance. I can see you out there, Shane.
You got to be very athletic on those skates.
Yeah, you do. You can bust your tail if you're not careful. So
that's right. I had a Facebook Live. Oh, no, I got a couple of texts I need to read, buddy, on the Titan Mark text line. It says, good morning, Shane. I did not want to see Georgia win the Natty, but I must admit, once it was clear they were winning, I couldn't help but be happy for Stetson Bennett.
Good for you.
And no doubt it would have been different with the healthy Michie and Williamson, but Bryce Young made it clear he's the best QB in college. Under extreme pressure, he kept dropping dimes, and the young wide receivers just couldn't haul him in. Here's hoping Coach Napier can land Florida a few of those stud QBs and wide receivers soon. Later, Ryan. Appreciate the text. Kevin says on the Titan MR text line, let the morons start saying that Georgia should play in the Super Bowl or in the NFL. I don't think anybody's saying that, Kevin.
No.
They're a very good football team. They're the best team all year long.
No. They outscored Alabama 20-9 last quarter, by the way, and 27-9 the second half.
Asa wants to know here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mellon Law, the only personal injury attorney law firm of the Florida Gators. What was the officials' call about clapping being a penalty? Well, they call it, I forgot how they phrase that penalty, unsportsmanlike or delay of game.
No, they call it something about delay of game. It was delay of game.
Delay of game. So a lot of teams are going to the clap. Obviously, if you're a Gator fan, you remember the clap issues we had in Kentucky. But it was Toa, the middle linebacker, outside linebacker, was clapping, I don't know, to get somebody's attention or maybe it was a signal or whatever. And so the ACC official called it unsportsmanlike delay of game. So that's what that penalty was. I don't think he was doing it intentionally. Some people do. Lauren says, I don't want to see Georgia win anything. This is hard for me. Look, I get it. But you got to give them credit. I just think it's a tremendous story. Asa says Bryce Young is a man. He was getting pounded and jumped up. Yeah, and he's a little dude, man. Yes. About 5'10", about 190 pounds. He took a beating.
Well, so did the other guy too, by the way.
Oh, both quarterbacks took a beating.
Bennett got hammered. They were clobbering him, late hitting him in the face. I was a little bit. I thought they got dirty. I thought Alabama played dirty there a couple of times, taking shots at the quarterback like that. So I don't know what that was about, but they were too many hands to the face last night, and there was uncalled late hits.
A couple of people asked here, talking about we had a couple of, I think, Raging Cajuns that are transferring to Florida.
About 100.
No, we're talking about players, not coaches.
Well, both.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Shane, I told you our business. I told you what we need to do. We need to go there on Archer Road and start us a Cajun restaurant.
Cajun? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Get Louisiana hot sauce and put it on there and make some of that good Cajun food and
crawfish.
Jam. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, touffee and whatever, and boudin and all that good stuff. You know about that. You grew up down there, not in Cajun country, but you ate a lot of that. What's the best Cajun food you ever ate, by the way?
Cajun? I mean, I like jambalaya.
I love crawfish. Do you like
crawfish? Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's a lot of work. They're very good. I enjoy it, but it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. We get them peeled.
Tyler says, oh, my God, these dudes stroking Stetson Bennett. Look, man, Stetson Bennett's a good football player. Very good football player. He's a national champ now. So kudos to him and the Georgia Bulldogs. All right, buddy.
Shane, can I just say real fast, can we educate some Gator fans here? It's okay to be respectful of other opponents in the SEC. It's okay. Over the years, it's what made the SEC different. Is that, when you're not in it, rooting for your dime, of course, you can take either side there. You got the SEC, but stop just hating on teams. Don't be against everything. Be for something, Shane. I just hate fans who give that narrow view. Like you said, you fought that fight all year, certainly with Stetson Bennett. Give the man the credit. He deserves it.
Yes, he does. He's a very good football player. Buddy, before we let you go, Gators play tomorrow night in basketball. Sit at 0-2 in conference play. Got the LSU Tigers rolling into town. Very good basketball team. I was impressed the way we played at Auburn. I think Auburn's a Final Four team. Jabari Smith is going to be a first rounder. We got fortunate he got in foul trouble, so he didn't play very much. But your thoughts on this basketball team? What if we start 0-3 in conference play?
Well, I think it's going to happen because you're talking about one of the best teams in the league right now coming to town. They are really good and really fast. And I love the way some individual efforts are being on the Florida basketball team. And I love what they're trying to do. And they played hard. But Shane, they just aren't that good. They really aren't. If you look at what they're facing, it's going to be a struggle to make the tournament, in my opinion, right now. Not for lack of effort. Mike White's got them playing hard, but they just don't have the talent. And when Appleby's off, the whole, they got one guy to go to, and that's it. And so some of those guys got to start getting some points and start scoring some more because they cannot compete at this level with what they got.
Yeah, it's a lot of the so-called basketball experts in the country think the SEC is the number one basketball conference this year, which I agree.
Does that mean 6 teams, 7 teams? Because Florida's going to have to go that deep to get in right now unless things change.
Yeah, I would probably say 7 teams get in. I mean, it's still early. I mean, how many? I can't even remember how many conference. Do we play 12 or 16 conference games?
I don't even know.
I can't even keep up with it.
You're asking me what day it is. Maybe I got a shot. I don't know. There's so many things out there. I'm just trying to keep up with you, Shane.
Yeah. John says it hurts when you start the conference with 3 potential Final Four teams. Well, that's true.
Yeah, that is true.
Say it's
By the way, what was your favorite play last night? What was the number one play you thought was? It's hard to do that, but there were quite a few good plays. Was there one play in particular that you thought was the game breaker?
Well, I got to say the deep ball that Stetson, he avoided a rusher. slid to his right and launched the deep ball. It was a tremendous catch by number 5. I don't know his name. But that play that was a series directly after the so-called fumble happened, which it was not a fumble. I'll argue with anybody all day long, including those damn officials. But, it was almost like Todd Monken and them, their plan was, okay, we feel like we can run the ball in Georgia, but they really couldn't. And then they got behind and they said, you know what? We're going to depend on our walk-on quarterback. And they came out firing, and he hit like three or four completions in a row.
At 3 straight. Including that great throw for the touchdown. Yeah.
So the touchdown, the deep ball. And man, I tell you what, the other touchdown that he threw to Bowers, the tight end, on the little zone RPO play.
I love Bowers. Yeah.
Gosh, he had 2 guys coming clear at him, and somehow that little joker got it over their heads, and obviously.
That's your favorite? Was that your favorite throw? Probably was, wasn't it?
It was.
I like the deep throw.
Bryce Young makes some really good throws too. He's an elite thrower of the football.
Yeah. How about this, Shane? The pick 6 by Ringo. If you go back and look at the tape, Kirby's running down to the sideline.
Tell him to get down.
What he's doing? Get down. And then, of course, at the end, you say, good job. So that was a moment right there. And Kirby was, that was the play. And like Kirby said, what did he think when he saw it? He thought about the hundreds of times they practice that play and practice.
Yeah, the defensive guy in that situation should get down. Before we let you go, Kevin wants to respond to his text that I read earlier on the Titan Mark text line. He says, I wasn't meant to be demeaning to anyone, just that it is what it is. Always heard on social media from the winning teams. No disrespect on a very good Georgia team, and hats off to Stetson Bennett. Yeah, kudos to Georgia. Now, we got buddy, you've been following much recruiting. I know we got some big boys coming in here in the next couple of weekends.
That's what I hear. I can't keep up with it. Right now, I'm trying to keep up with who the coaches are and learn something. Look, the 2 things I promised myself, I'm going to learn more about recruiting and about NIL. Those are 2 huge stories, I think, that we got to get on. It's going to be a part of what we do. I'm going to try to get somebody on to talk recruiting on the show here in a week or so. I'm hearing, again, this is just scuttlebutt, what you hear guys saying, and guys like Lauren follow it closely, and, of course, Franz Collins follows it closely. We're hearing there's going to be some big names committing, what that means in the next couple of weeks in Florida. Now, Billy's already told us that this is not going to be a very good recruiting class. Guess what? ETN changed that. They jumped from 40th to 50th, 50th to 40th and up. I'm not too worried about it. Everybody I've talked to, everybody on the inside, which is not that many that I know, have all told me Billy Napier is about to launch. And from what I've seen so far, and Shane, you're closer to it than I am, I don't know anybody didn't think the top's going to blow off. Now, look, let's don't fall in love at first date again. Let's wait to see. But there's a lot of promising things about to happen. And trust me on this one thing. I know for a fact NIL is going to be a big part of what Billy Napier does.
All right. Brandon says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law. I know QB has a problem with kids celebrating after tackles. Once you said you don't see Alabama players doing that, I've seen them do it a lot this season. Seems like it's the new norm now. I have no problem with kids celebrating. It's the crossing my, doing this and doing this. They don't do that. Alabama players celebrate with one another. Georgia players are the same way. You know what I'm talking about, buddy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I have no problem with you celebrating with your teammates and stuff, but it's when they do all these silly signs.
Especially when they just made a routine tackle.
Yeah, exactly.
You're supposed to
break up a slant route. Well, hell, that's what you're supposed to do. You play DB.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So anyway,
false bravado is what I call it. False bravado. So
yeah. So all right, buddy. Good stuff. What you got on the show tonight? Bencher.
Yeah, we've got Eddie Rojas from NIL. Talking about the Gator Collective, which is really gotten to be quite a big deal. And I'm going to have Eddie on. We're going to make an announcement tonight regarding our future show. And we've got a guy who knows a little football, seen it all year. David Moulton's kind of objective guy. He'll break it down. Then Mike McGinnis is going to give us a little rules clinic tonight on about what you can what happened, when, and how it happened. And Mike, of course, longtime SEC official. And
yeah, I mean, you can call holding on every play of every football game if you wanted to.
Yeah, but it did the affect the play, I think. Well,
I thought for the most part, the ACC crew did a really good job last night.
I think they did okay. You didn't even know.
Yeah, I think so. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that fumble call though. It's no different than the Tom Brady tuck rule. No difference.
I don't agree with the fans throwing stuff on the field either. That was pretty crap.
No, not at all. I agree. All right, buddy. Good stuff as always.
All right, Shane.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you, buddy.
That's Buddy Martin.
Appreciate it.
You can listen to Buddy on Facebook Live Monday through Friday about 9 p.m. Eastern time. You can follow him on Twitter at The Buddy Show. We're going to take our first time out, come back, try to get to a bunch of these Facebook Live comments and questions and text. You're watching and listening to Pod Up Matthews in the Morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Adams Rib Company, Doreen Wiebe Realtor, Caldwell Banker, MM Parish, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Wrap Spot, Okito America, Gators Dockside, Style Cuts, Big Mills Cheesesteaks. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit potupwithshane.com and click the advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Are you tired of being sidelined by nagging pain? Hi, I'm Emmett Smith, Hall of Famer and Dance with the Stars champion. Happy to tell you about QC Kinetics and their biologic therapies for treating pain without drugs or surgery.
Are you suffering from chronic pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, or lower back? Are you tired of living with arthritis pain? QC Kinetics offers natural pain treatment that can repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints.
Listen, I know pain, and I've seen firsthand how powerful biologic therapies can be. Patients at QC Kinetics rave about their result because they're getting their lives back. They're getting moving again.
These exciting regenerative treatments used to be available only to pro athletes like Emmett. Now they're available to anyone thanks to QC Kinetics. Call today for your free consultation.
Get long-lasting results from my friends at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics 352-400-4550. In North Central Florida, call 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics 352-400-4550.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Wrap Spot, folks, is expanding. Wrap Spot is opening a second location in the heart of Gainesville's Custom Car Zone at 1931 North Main Street. Wrap Spot has teamed up with the crew at Vibrant Vinyl Works to offer color change wraps, advertising wraps, custom striping, hood wraps, and wall wraps. That's our good friends at Wrap Spot. If they need your car, truck wrap, give those folks a call. All right. We got a couple of Myron Jones Facebook Lives. People saying he was a leading scorer at Penn State. He's a shooter. He has to make shots. I agree. Got to knock him down, Myron. So knock them down tomorrow night in the O'Connell Center. A lot of SEC games tonight on the docket. I think the premier game is Auburn, Alabama. Boy, that's going to be a barn burner. That's a 9:00 game. It's in Tuscaloosa. Auburn ranked number 4 in America. Alabama number 24, coming off a loss at Missouri. They've kind of sputtered around here the last couple of weeks, but boy, is Auburn good. But it wouldn't surprise me if Alabama wins that game. A couple other conference games. Kentucky's at Vanderbilt. I believe Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken, is 2-0 in the conference, but I could be wrong. And then there was one other SEC game tonight. I can't remember who it was. Tennessee and South Carolina. The Vols coming off a loss They're sitting at 10-4. South Carolina's 10-4. Gators play South Carolina, I think, this weekend. We never match up well with Frank Martin's crew and don't play well there. So John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. With Jackson Dart transferring, it pretty seals Caleb Williams to USC. No one should be surprised. Jackson Dart, another quarterback. I don't know where he's going to end up. Shoot, he may end up here for all we know. But he's a really good thrower of the football. But yeah, I would think Caleb Williams, although a lot of people think he may end up in North Carolina for some reason. I don't know. But if I'm him, I go with Lincoln Riley. I mean, it's a simple process. I think Lincoln Riley does a phenomenal job with quarterbacks, and that's where I would go if I was him. I would not go to North Carolina. So we shall see. Mary says, oh my, I have to stay awake tonight for the Buddy Martin show. Yes, you do. Eric says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, Kamari Wilson is recruiting other top players. He's for real. Yeah, I've heard he's done a tremendous job. You know, that's one thing that hopefully Florida can get back to. And I think Billy Napier and his staff will do it, bringing in really good classes where these kids want to be here. They want to play with one another. And I think getting the ETN kid will definitely help. And I think you're going to see some surprises here in the next couple of weeks. And I guess February signing date, we'll see what happens. Let's get to this day in sports. It's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise. Comfort Temp is now hiring team members with all levels of experience, great culture and benefits, and opportunity for growth. $1,000 signing bonus for qualified positions. Give Comfort Temp a call, 352-376-2366. This day in sports. In 2004, I do not remember this. I wonder if y'all remember this. It was 4th and 26, trailing the Green Bay Packers by 3 in an NFC divisional playoff game. The Eagles faced 4th and 26 on their final drive. Donovan McNabb hits Freddie Mitchell for 29 yards. The Eagles tie the game and go on to win in overtime. Is that the year the Eagles played the Patriots in the Super Bowl, I guess? But I do not remember that. Converting a 4th and 26 with the game on the line, that's unheard of. But that's brought to you by our good friends at Comfort Temp. Don't remember that, but I'm not an Eagles fan. So anyway, Asa has a question here. Hi, itches. Simple question. Is NIL compensation uncapped? Yes, it is not capped. Asa, if you're not familiar, A&M signed 15 top players in America in the early signing period, and their boosters paid them roughly between $25 and $30 million for those 15 kids. So we'll see. It's something needs to be done. I don't think Florida has that type of money. Buddy swears that we do. I don't. Lauren says, get Michael Jordan to NIL Williams at UNC. It could happen. I didn't think about that. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, did you watch the main telecast? I tried watching the one with Jimbo, but too many smalls. Yeah, I didn't like. I usually like the coaches telecast when they're sitting all in the same room. But Jimbo just had his staff in a meeting room. I didn't like that format. I watched about 2 plays and then I went to the regular one. I wish they would have had the Mannings doing it, quite honestly. Chuck says Freddie Mitchell was from Kathleen High in Lakeland. Okay. Yeah, he said it's insane. There's no cap on this NIL stuff. But yeah, it's reportedly Bryce Young supposedly made about 800,000 or 900,000, maybe a little bit more this year. And he's going to make more because he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He's coming back. I'm sure they're going to have some other players on their team that'll make a lot of money. But to pay these kids $2 and $3 million when you have not seen them do anything at the collegiate level is just bizarre to me. And I don't know. I mean, those kids could spend all that money and then go in the transfer portal. There's got to be some type of contract or something they sign. I don't know. But we'll see. Make sure you tune in to Buddy's show tonight. They'll give you some information on the Gator Collective that has something to do with the NIL. And I know it's important these days, but I also think it's out of control and it needs to be regulated. It's not right, but it is what it is. Nat says here on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law, Mullen looked uncomfortable on TV yesterday. I saw him. I guess it was he and Luke Fickle with Joe Tessitore and a couple of people. Um, yeah, I don't know if Dan's going to go into the TV business or what. What does this say here? John says Stetson Bennett should get some kind of deal for being the mailman. Look, Stetson Bennett, he can go work. I want to say I'm not sure what his major is, but he can go work in any business he wants to once he graduates, probably in downtown Atlanta for some Georgia Bulldog booster. That boy is he's going to be set, and good for him. Lauren says the next few years will be very interesting in college sports. Yes, I'm the only one, I guess, that hates it, but we'll see. We shall see. I think the Texases and the Texas A&Ms of the world that have the deepest pockets in the world, in the country, are going to get whoever they want if people want to go for money. John, good comment here. Brought to you by Metal Law. Mullen will probably replace Chiswick on the SEC network. Didn't think about that. Thought Gene Chiswick did a phenomenal job doing that. We wish him a lot of luck going back to North Carolina. But boy, coaches want to coach. You can't keep them away from the game. Chris says, do you think Alabama wins if they don't lose their top two receivers? Hard to say. Obviously, that was part of it, but injuries happen. You just got to deal with it. I mean, who's to say if George Pickens gets to play full speed for the entire year, is Georgia a better football team? I don't know. Injuries are part of the game, and it's unfortunate for that to happen. My question to you is, should have the Alabama wide receiver set out? He's a guaranteed first-round top 5 pick. Should he have set out the game if everybody wants to go that route? Look, injuries are part of the game. You hate to see it happen, but you can be injured. Somebody can be injured right now training at their training facility for the combine, blow their knee out. It happens all the time. Achilles. So Joe says, oil money. We need to get those orange juice guys paying. Yeah. I don't think the payday will be big enough for Mullen on a late night SEC network show unless he's willing to work for less. You'd be surprised. I mean, I don't know. The SEC network pays pretty good from what I hear. All right, let's take our final time out, come back, wrap up this Tuesday edition. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the morning.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, won't back down. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Comfort Temp, comfort is our business, peace of mind is our promise. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Great Clips, it's gonna be great. Our Gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Celebration Point Town Center, South State Bank, Chris Doring Mortgage, Silverback Concrete Co. Some of our touchdown sponsors are MB Listing, McDonald's of Gainesville, My IT Masters, Gainesville Neon and Signs, 84 Lumber, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, Avera and Smith, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Ruse Ogra Agent, State Farm Insurance, Silver Cube Billiards and Sports Bar. If you are interested in promoting your business on the show, visit podupwithshane.com and click the Advertise button. Again, thank you to all the great businesses that support the show. If you like what we are doing here, make sure you follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi, Steve Spurrier here. You know, making a reservation at my restaurant is easier than a Saturday afternoon homecoming game against Vandy. You don't have to call or email. Just go to spurriers.com, hit the reservation button, pick a date, a number of guests, and a time. It's so simple, I can do it. In fact, I just did. Maybe I'll see you tonight.
Well, Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios at South State Bank. We understand that small businesses need a community business partner they can rely on. South State has 4 convenient Alachua County locations. South State Bank, banking for member FDIC. Again, I want to thank Buddy Martin for joining us on the Titan MR hotline. Got a text here on the Titan MR text line from Tom, who's obviously an Alabama fan. He says, Bryce Young is the worst quarterback in Alabama school history. He said, he is no Kenny Stabler, Joe Willie, Namath, Scott Hunter, Jeff Rutledge, or Bart Starr. Them were real quarterbacks. Come on, Tom. Kid's the only guy that's ever won the damn Heisman Trophy at the quarterback position, and he is an elite player. Elite. That's some Alabama fans for you. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. Shane, which NFL team coach firing surprised you yesterday? Flores kind of surprised. Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't realize Brian Flores has been there for 3 years. Man, they went on a little run. I don't think they're very good offensively, but defensively they play extremely hard. He's a defensive guy. But I was very surprised. So it's going to be interesting to see a lot of openings in the NFL. I'm not sure which one's the most attractive job out there. A lot of people think it's Denver. Denver's got to get their situation at quarterback solidified. Lauren, yeah, it is funny since he won the Heisman. You know, these Alabama fans, they want Saban fired now. It's funny. It's funny. Marcus says Mullen does not need the money. He's getting paid $12 million for failing. Yeah, most coaches that go into radio and TV have been paid a buyout, so they're doing okay. Joe says he's welcome here at Florida if he's looking. I guess he's referring to Bryce Young. Yeah, we will take him in a heartbeat. John asked, do you think Harbaugh leaves for the NFL? I do. I think Jim will go back to the NFL. Look, I'm a huge college guy. I've always, if I had a choice to be a head coach of a college team or a pro team, I'd always go college because I just love it. My mind has changed now with all this nonsense going on in college sports. I don't know why anybody would want to have to deal with the recruiting, the transfer portal, the NIL, the kids, the way they act now. I would not want to deal with it. Some people are made out for it. Some are not. Eric Bieniemy should get a head coaching job. He should. Cliff, I agree. Minnesota, I forgot about Minnesota. That is a good job. They used to play really good defense. They got some good skill guys on offense. So we shall see. Hope you enjoyed today's program. Tomorrow we'll break down LSU in Florida, and we'll continue talking. I'm sure Billy Napier will hire somebody today we can talk about tomorrow. But congratulations. I want to also give a shout out to my daughter. She turns 26. It's her birthday. So big day for her. She lives in the state of Mississippi. So anyway, congratulations to the Georgia Bulldogs. It's been a long time, but they were the best team all year long and deserved to win it. So it's time for us to get back in the mix, and I think Billy Napier will do it over time. Hope you enjoyed today's show. Today's show is a wrap brought to you by Rat Spot. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.